doesn't advocate sexual activity, but it shows responsibility and self-help.
I think that's an important point.
And I'll give you a chance to embellish it in just a moment.
Upset because I see my children and other children watch, Dallas and Alexis Colby get into bed, but then they see half the story. They don't know what goes on under the sheets, and it's leaving them with half the picture, and it's not the real world.
And the long work of parenthood.
Right, it's half the story.
When we talk about condoms, and we talk about sanitary napkins, it is a personal issue, but it doesn't have to be a secretive issue. That's when the children get even more curious, when it's secretive. Tell them about it.
I just want to say I have two daughters. One's 22, one's 23, and is going to have a baby in July. And I have a fantastic relationship with these girls. Right. But what about all the young 13, 14-year-old girls that have no relationship? Who do they go to? If they don't have people like that that want to help them, yes, who can they go to?
I think this program has just brought up how confused we all are about the whole issue. And we haven't really taken a stand. When my daughter went away to college, she came back and said to me, "You were one of the only mothers that has not asked me if I want birth control pills." And I said, the problem is, if I ask you if you want them, am I condoning your sexual activity? And if I don't, am I ignoring it? And I really think that's where we're at.
How are we teaching our children responsibility doing this? When I grew up, there was no question about whether I'm going to have sex.
I don't want to bring you bad news, but when those days are gone forever. You want to stand up? What's your point? I want you to make your point.
We're not teaching responsibility. If we just hand it over to them to be able to do this, how are they learning to be responsible?
It's a more fragmented society today. I think it truly is. I mean, Woodstock, who heard of Woodstock when I was going to school? Even marijuana. Only saxophone players smoke.
I guess they're going to make marijuana legal next, so they can do that too, then, I guess.
And some trumpeters. The point is that can't we agree that it's different now, and we really do have a problem.
It's different, but why can't we still teach them at home? I mean, what's happened to home?
Are you at home?
Yes. We educate our children at home, right?
Yeah,
but then what happens is they're in the back of the car. Does the education bring the contraceptives there?
Yeah.
The hormones take over. You're not going to stop what you're doing.
In other words, you can't.
Hormones and her hormones.
Yeah.
And you're not going to stop what you're doing and say, let's go to the drugstore and get the contraceptives. You know, even though you're educated, it does not prevent it.
So in other words, the passion is so great that you just can't overcome it.
Not my passion. I'm married, but sometimes, yes. Yes, it does. I believe that. I do. I do approve of the ad in the newspaper, though. I think that's very good.
Bill, if I can say, the one point they're all making is it bears out in our experience. 98% of the girls that come into our clinic have been sexually active for 6 months to a year, and usually they come in because they're afraid they're pregnant. The idea is if we can get these ads out and they know they can come to the clinic ahead of time and learn something, then they don't have to face the abortion decision.
All right, we'll show you that commercial one more time, but first we've got our own commercials to deal with here. If you joined us late, the issue is on what media should contraceptive information be broadcast or allowed in print? Is it okay in a high school newspaper? You should know that the networks, all three of the networks, have foursquare come down against, at least for the moment, advertising commercials for condoms. Also refusing to handle that business are Time, Newsweek, Life, and other major magazines, including Cosmopolitan. We are, as an establishment, running full tilt away from this issue. And I don't know, there's no Solomon here. There are reasonable people lined up on both sides of this. And then while we're arguing, more and more kids are getting pregnant. And we'll be back in a moment.
Not much time. Yeah.
All right. This is 1985, and I think we must
wake up and smell the coffee. Bodies have changed. The children develop faster. And so maybe if we tell them, I have 5 children incidentally, so maybe if we tell them, and with people like this, we won't have that VD or the pregnancies.
Yes, ma'am.
Would it be an idea for the Trojan company to ask the 3 magazines who won't take their ads for a write-in campaign?
Sure.
Well, you know, you get to a point where we won't beg people to take our money. We're a small company. We're not General Motors, so we have other places to spend it, and we are spending it.
Over here, please.
In this whole issue, it seems like the one thing that we all seem to be forgetting is if we could put as much emphasis on moral responsibility.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, for these people who are saying they don't want this stuff on television, or they're seeing people jumping into bed, they should stop their kids from watching this filth on TV. They're polluting their minds with sewage. Yes, but if you're home and you're having Knots Landing or whatever, they're Dallas, whatever, on TV, turn it off. Don't allow them to watch it.
I don't for causing it.
Hold it a moment, please. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I don't think we're putting pressures on the kids. I think the kids live in a different world today, and I think this is something that they need, and it should be given to them.
If you joined us late, please let us show you once again this commercial that will not be accepted by the networks for Trojan condoms. Roll tape.
To everything, there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. The makers of Trojan condoms believe there is a time for children, the right time, when they are wanted. And Trojans have helped people for over half a century safely practice responsible parenthood.
What do you think?
At least the advertisement is directed at the male instead of at the female, which is...
I think it's in very good taste, the advertisement, and it really should be shown on TV.
I have 2 teenagers, and they're aware of everything that's happening, so why not the ad?
Yes, ma'am. You'll stand, please. You'll stand. What?
Jesse Helms wants to buy CBS. How do you think anybody is going to put this on the air?
I think we can safely assume that if he's successful, that you won't see this on. Yes?
I think it's a good ad because I have a 13-year-old son, and I would buy.
I think that the ad is very tasteful, and if I had to show up at PTA, I would, and I would show up for them.
Yes,
I think that most kids at 13 or 14 are just not ready to use contraceptives. They're just too immature to even think about it.
They're certainly not too mature to have kids. Yes.
I think that the statistics that you showed on this show just proves that the parents are not doing the job that they're supposed to be doing.
Yes, ma'am.
I feel that the Trojan ad should be shown on television because that's the only method of birth control that offers some degree of protection against venereal disease.
I just want to say that as a teenager.
Service is provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
Now, if Planned Parenthood has a section or time where they would